It's November 15th, 2015, and you're listening to Session 3, Episode 3 of The Road to Japan. Konnichiwa. Minasan, genki desu ka? Welcome once again, everyone, to another episode of The Road to Japan. My name is Nico. I will be your host, as usual. So, as you probably can imagine, it has been a while since the last episode was recorded. It's probably been almost a month and a half. That is purely because things have been crazy busy over here. I'm not even sure necessarily where to start. To be honest, this actually could end up being kind of a short show because while I have been extremely busy, there's not necessarily a lot of different things to discuss per se. And I mean, I've been so friggin' busy that I decided to forego doing like the doing like a live stream or anything like that. And I'll be honest, really, it seems that my audience is more so on the audio side of things. It doesn't really appear that I get a lot of I don't want to call it attention, but my episodes don't necessarily get a lot of views on YouTube, so I'm not necessarily sure if I really want to continue putting that effort into, trying to get the streams to look nice and things of that nature. That's not to say that I'm going to kill the streams and not do any more video work for the show. It just may be that I don't necessarily do, actual episodes for the show itself. But that's, kind of a work in progress, so we'll obviously have to kind of see how that goes down the line. I still want to do things like the quick vids, and if you're keeping up on those, I did do a quick vid in the last week or two, talking about the fundraiser that I did, which was now a week ago. So I guess I'll start with that. So I mean, one of the reasons that I've been unavailable to essentially do a show is because my social life, as it were, has gotten a little bit busier along with everything else. So, and I don't want to make it sound like it's a bad thing. I mean, it's obviously good, to have friends, and especially have friends that, want to see you and visit with you and do various things. So, I've been having fun with friends and whatnot. It hasn't been a ton of opportunities really to visit with my friends. So I kind of take those opportunities when they present themselves. So, I mean, I've done things like, gone with one set of friends and their kids to a pumpkin patch to go pick out pumpkins for Halloween. Obviously, as I mentioned with the quick vid, I also participated in a fundraiser. That was the fundraiser known as Extra Life. It's been going on for, I think, 8 years now. And I am a veteran of this fundraiser. I did the first 3, I think the first 3 years I participated in the fundraiser. It was just on my own though. One of those years I did do it with one other person, who was a girlfriend I had at the time. She went ahead and did the fundraiser with me. This was many years ago. So this year I was approached by a friend of mine to join in with him. Not necessarily as a team member, but it was just if I wanted to kind of jump in on the fun and all that. So I originally was a little hesitant to agree to it just because, like I said, things have been pretty busy, just with everything, obviously, with having to do with school and whatnot. So I wasn't really sure if I was going to be able to do it. But I decided that I wanted to, mainly take a break from the job, because, man, the job has been really frustrating. That's the nice way of putting it. But the job's been really getting on my nerves, and there'll be things I'll discuss a little bit later. I know I don't really prefer to. I wish to keep my job as much out of the show as possible, but there are times where I feel I need to bring it up. But anyway, getting back to the fundraiser itself, I decided I wanted to kind of take a break from work. Now, obviously, the fundraiser itself was on a Saturday. It went from all day Saturday to early in the morning on Sunday, but I wanted to make sure I had time to prepare, because if I was going to participate in this fundraiser, I needed to make sure that my other work was taken care of beforehand. So I actually took 2 days off from work to essentially kind of sort of rest up and also get some of my homework done ahead of time. Unfortunately, I didn't get all of it done, but it ended up being okay in the end, because once I kind of got my rest after it was done on Sunday, then I just kind of I woke up, did my thing, and got the rest of it done, or at least whatever I needed to get done for that week. So all in all, it was a success. The team did raise a good amount of money. I don't know the exact numbers. I wasn't really necessarily paying attention to that. But I'll tell you, man, trying to participate in a fundraiser where you're playing video games for 24 hours may sound like really awesome on paper. But it actually is really difficult to do. Mostly because of the fact that, say what you will about people that play video games. I mean, gaming is typically something you do sitting down, and it can be draining. I found myself definitely towards the end doing a lot more standing and walking around. There were times where I would just step out, because this was done at a hotel. My friend is doing this also along with his company. His company sponsors this event, and they have sponsored it for the last, I think, 3 years. This might be the 4th year. I can't remember. But in part with that, they will assist by renting out a room it's actually at the same hotel that the event MGC is held at, which I've talked about earlier this year. It's not the same room that we normally are in for MGC, but it's actually right around the corner. So, it's a nice big room. There was I think there was about 25-ish people in there, including myself. And, the room got pretty packed. And what's interesting is that he also does a gaming podcast, which is kind of how he got into Extra Life in the first place. And what's interesting about their Extra Life episode is that they will record 5 minutes out of every hour. So what's funny about that is you literally, over the course of this episode, hear the degradation as the hours get later and later. So I'll put a link in the show notes for that episode, because I was on it. I was only on for one of the segments, so if you're listening just to hear me, I wouldn't really recommend it, because that's kind of pointless. But the episode itself is actually really fun. I always look forward to hearing these episodes, whether I'm on them or not. Just because it's funny. Obviously it was a little different this year because I was able to do it with him. So I was able to see firsthand, the degradation as he and his co-host, just got more and more tired over the night. But I was feeling it too. I was already feeling tired about 4 hours in, which meant I still had 20 hours to go. So it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was the easiest thing, but, I mean, it's for a good cause, and I do enjoy participating in the fundraiser. Yeah, it wreaks a little havoc on the body, but, I surprisingly was able to bounce back pretty easily. Normally it might take, a couple days to recover, to get your sleep schedule back on track. But I don't know. I think it was mostly because I came home, around like 10 o'clock that morning, and then pretty much obviously went straight to bed. And I only slept like maybe 5 or 6 hours. And that probably helped, because then I got up, did my normal thing. And then I still made it a point to go to bed kind of early, to give myself, more than 8 hours to sleep. So in that time, then I could get the real proper recharge, and also kind of get my cycle back on track, and do that within, like 24 hours instead of having it span over, like 2 or 3 days. So, overall, I mean, it was fun. It was a good time. I had a lot of fun. And so, as far as like, if I'm going to do that every year, I don't know. It really just depends on how the schedule looks. I think I was invited to join him last year, but I was just too busy with my studies and whatnot, which is funny, because I'm actually busier with stuff this semester than I was last year. But, either way, it is what it is. Maybe I'm just a little bit better at managing my time than I was last year. I don't know. So that was fun. And like I said, it seems like usually every Saturday I am getting invited to something. So like today is Sunday. So last night I was invited to join another friend of mine, to celebrate his birthday. And, I mean, it's what you would expect. We went out somewhere, he brought other friends and stuff. But he wanted me to go. So he actually asked what my schedule was like. And I said, well, my Saturdays are usually the ones that are open, if anything. So that's usually when I go to make plans, because I can, sort of move my homework around as necessary, so that I can leave a slot, for Saturday open to, do social things. So he originally planned on having it on Friday night, but he actually moved it so that I would be able to attend. So that was, really nice of him to do. So I definitely wanted to make sure that I'd be able to show up. So, did that last night, and it was, we had fun. And then just earlier today, I got invited to go to my friend's house next week to have dinner with them and their family. So now I've got that, going on next weekend. So, I mean, it's just, this is typically how the holidays kind of go for me. Though it usually is kind of like feast or famine, depending on which week it is. Like some weekends I'm doing absolutely nothing, but it seems the last, 3 or 4 weekends, I've always had something on my plate to do. But that's probably also because, like, on the school side of things, I've also started working with these other 2 classmates of mine in one of my classes, because they wanted to start like a study group. Now, the only thing is that, like, our study group only seems to be able to cover like one aspect of our homework. So like one Saturday we went out, we met up at a coffee shop to go over our homework for the class that we all have together. The thing was that it took us most of the day just to get through that, mainly because, we were getting distracted with a lot of side conversations, with each other, and one of us would usually have to reel the other 2 in and be like, okay, hey, we need to get back on track here and reassert our focus. So for me to want to continue doing that with them, I really need to kind of step up my discipline, because I mean, that ate up almost a whole Saturday, and that was only one of my many assignments that I still had a lot of work to do, the following Sunday. So I usually try to spread it out over Saturday and Sunday to make sure that I'm not basically overloading myself. So, that's, it's pretty much how it's going to go on. I mean, we're almost done with the semester. Like I said, the day is November 15th. So we're looking at roughly about a month left in the semester. And actually, one thing I did not put on my agenda because I kind of rushed to, get it set up here. But registration opened last week. So I am already set to go on my classes, and I don't have my schedule in front of me, but I did purposely make it so that my schedule for next semester was a little bit more manageable. That's not to say that this semester isn't manageable, but it's really been testing me mainly as far as time management is concerned. So with next semester, I only signed up for 2 classroom courses, and it's still going to be a full schedule. So I do have 2 other classes, but I am going to take those online. It seems that kind of doing that 50-50 split works best for me, because I still get some classroom time, working with fellow students and interacting with my instructors and things like that, while also having that ability to, kind of do things more independently, at least as far as the online classes are concerned. And it also kind of allows me to make up my own schedule a little bit more, as opposed to like what I'm doing now, where I have to be in class every day of the week, and I don't really have any options around that unless I want to start missing classes, which I'm not going to do. That's not happening. So what classes did I sign up for? I have a speech class. I know that. It's called Elements of Speech. I don't necessarily know what exactly it entails, but obviously I'm probably going to have to get up in front of the class because this is one of my classroom courses. So I'll probably have to, do speeches in front of the class. I mean, that would at least be assumed. But I won't know for sure until the semester starts. So there's that. And the other classroom course I'm taking is kind of like a intro to art. And from what I've read about the class description, it's going to be somewhere along the lines of, learning things having to do with drawing, sculptures, models, stuff like that. I don't necessarily know if that class is going to be easier or harder, because I mean, I'll confess to you guys, I am not really that creative of a person. Usually I do much better when it comes to just gathering and kind of regurgitating information. So, when it comes to like writing reports and essays and things like that, I do much better on that sort of stuff. But if this art class they're gonna say like, all right, I want you to create something that doesn't exist in the world, but I want you to use these elements to do it and things like that. That might be a little tough for me to do. Obviously I won't know until that, that class starts, and that class is going to be the 1 day a week class. So it's going to be, about 3 hours long. So hopefully, it won't be that taxing on me. I don't know. It all really just depends on how things look when the semester starts. But I figured that I would benefit more from having that as a classroom course as opposed to, doing that one online, because online was an option. I just decided not to go that route. So I don't remember. Oh, one of my online classes is the natural science course that I actually was going to take last semester, but dropped because of the fact that it was, well, at least the one I was going to take was accelerated. And I have decided that accelerated is not my thing, which obviously if you listen to past episodes, you'll know all about that. And speaking of the accelerated course, I technically am not really in that program anymore, but I have been speaking with one of the administrative folks down at the main campus for the college, and it turns out that I need to actually switch my program to a standard Associates of Arts because of the fact that I'm not taking any accelerated courses, because I was not made aware that in order for me to technically earn the accelerated degree, a certain number of course credits need to be taken in the accelerated format. And since I'm not doing that at all, I have to actually change my program. And as far as I know, all it requires is just submitting a form saying that, I want to transfer. It's not like it's going to it shouldn't screw up my credits or anything like that. Because the credits between the standard program and the accelerated program are essentially the same. It's just the way that you're taking those courses and the requirements. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it should, there shouldn't really be any necessity to have to do the program shift, but I don't really want to cause any trouble on that end and, have things be screwy when it comes time to graduate. So, they're saying just fill out the form, turn it in, and then you won't have to worry about it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll probably fill that out probably tomorrow and get that in so that I don't have to worry about it anymore. And I can't remember what the last class is that I registered for. But the other thing that I'm doing different this year is I'm also going to take what is considered to be a winterim or J-term course. So, the fun doesn't stop for me the last day of class this semester. It's actually just going to keep on going because I don't recall exactly when, but I think like the week of the 14th of December. I think that's right. Let me pull up my calendar real quick here. So yeah, I'm looking at my calendar, and yeah, it would be the week of the 14th, like the 14th through the 18th of December, is the last week of our semester. I don't know where my last class is. Because I mean, my classes go all week, but I think one or two of them actually only end a few days prior to that. So my last day might only be like that Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know for sure. I'll know, as we get closer to that. But the point is that that's the last week of this semester, and the first day of this J-term semester, quote unquote, begins on the 20th. So literally that same weekend, I'm starting this new course. What'll be nice about it is that the course only spans, I can't remember if it's three or 4 weeks. So it's a much shorter time frame. The idea is to do it essentially in the time between when our current semester ends and the spring semester begins. So it's only going to be like the 20th to the, I don't know, the 10th or 11th of January or something along those lines. So it'll still give me like a very short break where I don't have any classes to worry about, but it only lasts maybe a week or two, maybe 3 weeks. I don't know. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do as far as the show is concerned. I may do like, I don't know. I guess it depends on the workload that I get for this J-term class. From my understanding, it's supposed to be that we cover the same content, but they're obviously not going to pile everything on like they would in a regular semester. So they're going to pull things out. And from my understanding as well, this is also still kind of new as far as this program getting done through my college. I think they started this just last year. So that's part of the reason why I wasn't really aware of it until after the fact. Otherwise, I would have probably tried to take a course, last winter. But either way, the plan will definitely be that I will do the session 3 report card. I realize that episodes have been very sparse this session, but it's been really busy, and I'll be getting to the rest of why it's been busy in a moment. But the plan will still be to do the report card episode. Maybe I'll actually do it on the 20th of December, just because, well, actually, maybe I'll wait. I might have to actually wait a week or two because of the fact that sometimes it totally depends on when my grades get turned in. Because, the whole point of my report card episodes, I want to share my report card, share all the grades that I got. Obviously the hope is that, I'll be able just to kind of make it quick and be like, I got all A's, hooray, and that'll be the end of it. But I know the last 2 semesters, sometimes the teachers kind of drag their feet a little bit, getting those grades turned in. So it could end up being till after the new year that I might see the grades. I don't know. But either way, I'll be doing an episode somewhere around that point, doing the session 3 report card and kind of wrapping things up for this semester. Just, kind of summarizing everything. That may also, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure if there's going to be really a lot to talk about with the J-term course. I will probably what I will do, because of the fact that it ends with a week or two to spare between when it ends and when the spring semester begins, is probably around the end. I'll do a quick a quick episode, and I'll probably call it session 4. And granted, session 4 will pretty much be everything rolled up into one episode. So it'll be, talking about the course and then talking about the grade and kind of wrapping things up and kind of giving my impressions of how a J-term goes. Because I'm not sure if J-term is like a common thing with other colleges or universities. So, that may be interesting information for those of you out there that are listening that, maybe haven't experienced a J-term course yet. So I'm curious about it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping it's not, going to be a ton of work that they're going to try and cram into 3 or 4 weeks, because that'll be just madness. But the nice thing about it is that I'm only taking 1 class for this. So, I don't think there's anything against them letting me take more than 1, but I don't know. If this was like last year, I might have tried to. I would have obviously seen how that would have gone, and then that would have helped me determine if it was worth taking more than 1 for the J term. But I think the idea usually is just to take 1 class, just to kind of not necessarily casually knock out credits, but at least take care of 1 class in between the 2 semesters. So I guess that's kind of the plan for now, is that I'll have session 4 just be generally 1 episode. Unless there's a lot to talk about, then maybe I might span it over 2. I don't know. You'll have to stay tuned for that. So let's see, where we want to go now. I think I might have finally selected my major as far as my bachelor's degree. I can't say if it is for sure yet, because what I found out is that right around the time that I completed my admission to UWM, it turns out that those admissions only last a year. So what I have to do is I will actually have to readmit to UWM because I did not sign up for any classes yet. I don't know if that requires me to have to pay the admission fee again. I certainly hope not, because that is $50, and I'd rather not waste another $50 having to readmit myself. But I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. But anyway, I'll probably be taking care of that sometime during the next semester, that being spring semester, not the J term. Just, wait a few weeks at least until spring semester is fully underway and I'm kind of settled into that, because then it'll also allow me, I might actually wait till closer, not necessarily the end of spring semester, but at least around the time that registration opens, because I am not 100% sure on how the final semester at MATC is going to pan out, because my plan is that summer semester will be the last semester at MATC. If I have crunched all the numbers correctly and tracked all my credits correctly, I will only have, either 3 or 4 classes left to take by the end of spring semester. So what I am hoping to be able to do is take the remaining classes over the summer, because they do have a summer term. Take those remaining classes, and then that'll fulfill the requirements for my degree from MATC, which basically means then I will be able to graduate with my associates anyway. I don't think there's a summer graduation, so the graduation itself would probably have to wait until the end of fall term next year. So my actual graduation won't take place till sometime next December, but my credits will be taken care of and fulfilled. It'll just be a matter of making the graduation arrangements to get my diploma. Although I don't know if I could get my diploma early to at least hang on the wall or something. I don't know. But either way, that's the plan. I'm hoping that I can be able to get all my credits taken care of by the end of next summer, because then that would allow me to jump straight into fall classes at UWM. So there are a couple reasons why I chose the major that I did, which I don't know if I mentioned it yet. The ideal major I'm looking to do is sociology. And there are two big reasons why I chose sociology. Well, maybe 3. One is the fact that it does not, as far as I can tell, it does not have a math requirement beyond what I'm already doing. Now, don't take that as me saying I hate math. I don't necessarily hate math. There's just a lot of work that goes into math. So, I mean, I'm willing to do the work, but at the same time, it's a lot of work. There's a reason why math is usually the homework that I bring with me to the job, is because there's always so much work to do with it. All my other classes, I can usually just kind of knock things out at home, when it comes to writing reports, taking quizzes, things like that. Stuff that I don't necessarily need to bring to work with me. So looking over the requirements for sociology as a major, I don't see any math beyond what what I'm about to wrap up in my associate's program. Now, that's not to say that maybe I'm wrong or I missed something. I mean, for all I know, I'll get surprised. You have to take more math. I'm hoping that's not the case. As far as I know, sociology does not require like heavy duty math like the other sciences. I was actually surprised that even psychology requires further math, probably because of like statistics and stuff. But I think there's statistics in sociology too. So again, I might be totally wrong. I might have to take more math. But as far as I can tell, I don't. So that's a plus, in the book of sociology. The other two much larger reasons, because if I had to take math, then whatever. But the two other big reasons that I chose sociology is, one, sociology has some of the fewest credit requirements in its program. So again, if I read everything correctly, sociology only requires 30 credits to pass for the major, whereas a lot of other majors require something closer to 40, usually in like the 36 to 40 range. And some might even require more than that. I don't know. And this is obviously all for bachelor's degree. I didn't bother looking at, master's or PhD or anything, because I'm not even close to that yet. So yeah, 30 credits, it's manageable. And I think that could allow me to graduate a little sooner, maybe. It could actually have me walking across the stage a year after I get my degree from MATC. Maybe. I don't know. That's a big what if right now. I'll obviously know more once I get more information, because the other side of this plan is that during the spring semester, I'm going to do a lot more talking with someone at UWM to kind of get everything ironed out, find out what kind of classes I should take, and essentially get those semesters all set up. So, all I have to worry about is just registering for them, when I need to. But that's still all in the works. So unfortunately, I have to, hang tight for that, just like I will. Because I'm not really a fan of not knowing what to do. But at the very least, I'm planned as far as, spring semester and hopefully summer semester. So, as long as I can stay one semester ahead of myself, then I'm feeling okay about that. But yeah, hopefully, if all goes well, I could end up graduating from UWM by the end of, what would that be, 2017? Which would be awesome, because that would put me at taking care of everything within a 3-year time span, roughly, which would be nice. That would be amazing. But yeah, that's in the works. Oh yeah, and the other reason that I chose sociology is because it's one of the majors that can actually be taken entirely online. So I think I'm going to actually take advantage of that, because for those of you that don't live in Wisconsin, well, actually, no, I guess it would be pretty much like you would expect with most major colleges and universities, in that this, that UWM is in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, and, downtown any city is really a pain in the ass to get around in. I've already done my share of trips to UWM for various reasons, usually having to do with admissions and things like that. But to think of having to go there, multiple days during the week and having to worry about parking and things like that, that sounds terrible. So, yeah, I'm hoping that I can actually just take all these classes online. I do really enjoy the, being able to sit in a classroom with other students, but, I have definitely learned this semester that sometimes you can have a little too much, as far as always just getting tugged in so many directions, with having to go to class and, talking with classmates and helping them out. And then, all your other things in between, your social life, so on and so forth. So, having just taken all my major courses online will not necessarily make it easier as far as the course work, but at least it'll make, my time management easier. And I have no idea what online courses at UWM are like, but I can imagine that they're probably close to the same as they are, at METC. So anyway, that's another thing we'll kind of have to wait till a future session to discuss. So, let's see, I'm looking at my agenda here. I've pretty much covered everything except the last bit of what has been keeping me so freaking busy, this semester. And it's essentially, I guess, two things. One of which I wrapped up this past Friday. So as I have been mentioning for the last several episodes, I was approached last semester by the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society to basically become a member. And last semester I missed the window of opportunity to sign up and join them. But they approached me again this semester, and I made sure not to miss that. And my original agenda was to had a note to say that I submitted my application, but because it's been so freaking long since I've done an episode, that actually has changed to now I've not only submitted my application, but it got accepted, and I went to the induction ceremony. That's what happened on Friday. So, if you follow the Twitter account, you can see a photo of the certificate that I got. And it essentially is a certificate commending my achievement for basically good grades. It's saying, because the requirement is to have a 3.5 GPA or higher. And I think I'm rolling right now at a 3.9 something GPA. That's as of last semester. So hopefully, if all goes well, I will achieve A's in all my classes this semester, which will just bring that GPA up a little bit more. Because 3.9, it's pretty damn close to 4.0. Because if I get all A's this semester, that still only leaves one B plus that I've gotten since starting college. So it's just going to be a hair under 4.0 when all is said and done, if I can keep up the momentum of getting A's in my classes, which is probably the biggest fear that I have with this J-term course, is that if the course is so short as far as time is concerned, then that may hinder my chances to do things to keep my grade up, which is my biggest worry and fear. Obviously, if I walk out of that class with a B, it's not necessarily the end of the world. But it's just kind of become my mission, with being in college now, is just to get as many A's as possible. And if I can, I want to get all A's. That's basically what that ceremony recognized, was the fact that I want to do the absolute best possible. So, as far as I know, I am now officially a member of Phi Theta Kappa, but I think I still need to receive like some kind of email from them so I can at least register on their website. But, from what I understand, we spoke an oath and all this other stuff at the ceremony. And then, like I mentioned, we received our certificates, got our picture taken, that kind of stuff. But there, I'm still missing like one element of it, which I'm guessing I'll get later next week or something. I don't know. But it was, I'll admit, like, that ceremony, did get kind of, how shall I put it? I guess a little emotional for me. Just because like that was my first taste of real true accomplishment. Obviously besides looking at my report card every semester. But it was the first time that something, outside of myself recognized what I was doing. That something outside of my own little vacuum of college, they address the fact that they're like, hey, we notice that you're getting good grades, so we want to recognize that achievement. But that's not all. That's not it. It doesn't stop there. There's actually more to add to this, in that I have also been approached just a couple weeks ago. I was sent an email from someone from the college to join in the honors program. And what this is essentially, I would have to fulfill a contract that is set between myself and my instructor, or instructors, depending on how it goes through. And upon fulfillment of that contract, basically meaning that I complete, a project that we agree on, successful completion and, discussion of it afterwards, so on and so forth. Once that is done, then I would earn honors credentials for that class on top of whatever grade I got. So what I decided to do is that, because the requirement is 12 credits, in order to receive the designation of graduating with honors, which is, I don't know if they put that on the diploma, but that is something that would be recognized during graduation. And you would also earn a medal, some kind of like medallion or something. I'm not sure. That's just what it said in the email. I would officially be graduating with honors, and I would get the medal if I earn 12 credits with honors. So what that boils down to is I am taking 12 credits this semester. So if I am able to get projects all set up with each of my instructors, then I can knock out all 12 of those credits this semester and then be done with that. And then only have to, it's not like I'd be completely finished. I still have to worry about my classes next semester and getting good grades in those as well. But I'm not sure. Like, I mean, hypothetically speaking, if I were to earn my honors credits this semester and then had just a terrible semester next year, which, hopefully wouldn't be the case, but should it be the case, then, would they take away my honors credits? I don't know. I don't think they would. I don't think they can. I'm not sure. But I mean, that's not something that I really want to test anyway, because, I like the idea of graduating with honors, and I like the idea of graduating with as high a GPA as possible. So I have arranged to do projects in all of my classes. I have spoken to each of my instructors, and at least for 2 of my classes, the projects, or the contracts are filled out and signed. And then tomorrow and probably sometime Tuesday, I will get the other 2 contracts set up. I already have the projects arranged for all the classes, one of which I've already gotten started on, which was for my English class. So earning honors in English would be writing a creative piece that was inspired by some of the works that we've read. What's interesting is that I started writing this just on my own. I wasn't doing it as part of an assignment or anything, but when I started discussing this honors project with my instructor, she mentioned, that I could write a creative piece. And I mentioned that I actually already started something kind of on my own. Would we be able to work with that and submit it? So, she said, sure, send me what you have, and then we can take a look at it. So I essentially finished it just a few days ago. That's not to say that it's completely done and I don't have to worry about it anymore. But I got it so that it has a beginning, middle, and end. I essentially have a very detailed outline for what I want the story to eventually become. And I sent it to her, and she feels that it's a very good piece to work with, and that she's looking forward to working on it with me. She also mentioned that while this isn't a requirement for earning the honors credit, if she feels that it's worthwhile to try and do, she may even try to submit it to get published. I don't know what it would get published in. I don't know if that would be like an academic journal or some type of news article or what. I don't necessarily know what that entails. But that's something that we will likely be discussing in the coming weeks. But that's possibly something that could happen. I feel either way, once this particular project is done, I am actually going to post it on the website. Just because, I am kind of proud of it. I do feel like, while I'm not saying it's like my best work or anything like that, I feel working with her will make it a nice piece of literature, because while it is technically fiction, it is something that I am writing from based on an experience in my life. So I thought it would be interesting to share that with you guys, and also give you maybe a reason to go to the website besides just checking up on the latest episode. So yeah, that's the plan. I don't know when it'll get posted. It'll probably be sometime in the next month or so. Whenever she considers it to be finished, then I will just literally do kind of a copy paste, and it'll be a post on the website, which then you can read at your leisure. So yeah, there's that. I'm not going to I don't want to talk about it much beyond that, just because it's still kind of in a rough state, but things look good. Things look positive for that. For the 2 economics courses, I'm actually going to be assisting my instruct her with developing items that she will be putting into her lesson plan next semester. So I am basically formulating 2 activities, one essentially for each class, that she will be able to apply next semester. It'll be like an activity that helps demonstrate, some fundamental of economics. And while I don't know all the details yet, because I still, need to kind of look that over, which is probably what I'm going to do after I'm done recording, because I still have things to do before I go to bed tonight. But I'm going to look that over, and I'll share with you guys what I ended up doing with that. There's not really going to be anything to post. Math is probably going to be just the most basic, I suppose, because he just told me that if I do 2 group activities out of our textbook, then that would count for honors credit. So essentially that's just doing extra work, which I'm okay with. I wasn't even sure if he was going to be able to do anything as far as honors credit was concerned, but I'm glad that he was able to come up with something so that I don't have to worry about earning more honors credit next semester, that I can just knock all this out this semester and just simply be done with it. So let's see. I guess the last thing I'll mention is, unfortunately, the stupid poopy job that I work. And this will be really quick. But mainly I've just been having trouble at work, the last, 3-4 weeks. Mainly because I have learned that my supervisor has a problem with me doing homework. And the really obnoxious part about all that is the fact that I'm doing my homework during downtime. So essentially, when you work as a machinist, depending on what kind of shop you work in, you will usually have downtime. And all that is just the time that you're essentially waiting for your machine to finish running the part that you're working on. So it's pretty common. The amount of time that may be will depend on the part and the portion of work that you're doing on it. So, in some cases, we might be taking just a humongous chunk of steel, and we have to put it through what we call the roughing stage. So, that basically means that we're taking off the main chunk of material and forming it into what it eventually will become. Usually the roughing stage takes the longest because you're starting with just your stock raw material. There are other stages that may take as much, possibly even more time. It really depends on how specific the tolerances need to be on the measurements. So sometimes when you're doing, say, like finishing work, when you're basically doing one of the last operations before the product has to ship, then that may require a lot of work as well, because you may have a ton of dimensions that you got to check, and you have to check them, throughout the run, as opposed to like the roughing stage when you can just kind of let it go. And I mean, let it go as far as like you just press the go button and you wait for it to finish, and it goes through all the steps. You don't have to worry about anything. And it's pretty much like that. To give you an example, I did a roughing stage on one part months ago. And the roughing stage took 3 hours to complete for one part. So, think about that. It's just the material was so large, and you can only push the tool so much before bad things will start to happen. So, it can only go as fast as it's allowed to, which, when you're taking off a lot of material, that makes for a lot of time that you're kind of just sitting there waiting. So yeah, one part I ran one day took 3 hours to run, and this is what I was working on all day. It was just these parts. And I think I stayed on that. I was working on that job in that stage for something like 3 days, I think. And I mean, literally once we started the cycle, there wasn't really much to do unless something catastrophic went wrong, which didn't happen. I mean, this was one of those parts that they had ironed out years ago, so it ran fairly smoothly as long as you were keeping up on everything. So yeah, I mean, he'd hit go, and then now you had 3 hours to kill. So I mean, for me, I mean, the way this shop works is that, unlike other places I've worked at, where if you have downtime, especially that kind of downtime, they will usually find something else for you to do. Sometimes it might be like running a second machine, or giving you some kind of auxiliary work that doesn't pertain to your machine exactly, but it's still something to keep you busy. The last place I worked at did that quite often. Sometimes they'd do it even if you had a very short cycle. They'd still be like, oh, do this in between your 30-second cycles or whatever, which was really annoying. But the way this shop works is that you're always only on one machine. So it's pretty much luck of the draw as far as what you get for that day, if you're going to get a longer cycle, a shorter cycle, or whatever. So like, for example, that day when I had 3-hour cycle times, I just read a book out of my Kindle app on my phone. I mean, what else was I going to do? There's only so much sweeping that you can do before, it becomes redundant and useless. So yeah, I actually ended up during that like 3-day period, I read a whole book, just working on that part. Unfortunately, that was before the semester started, so that would have been awesome to have that kind of downtime, when I had homework to do. But essentially what I'm getting at is that, a few weeks ago I was, I bring my math homework in because math requires the most work out of anything I've done for any of my other classes. Everything else I can usually just keep at home or do after class before I go to work, and just do it like in the library or something. But math, there's usually just so many steps to a lot of the stuff that we do, and it just takes time. So, what I'll do is I'll bring my homework with me. And my supervisor saw the homework laid out, and he literally just walked right up to me and he said, "This is not the place for that." Which really just infuriates me. Because like to me, that feels like he, as a representative of this company, says, we don't support your academic efforts. We don't care that you're in school. We don't care that you're, trying to make a better future for yourself. You're here just to do what we want you to do. Which, don't get me wrong, I get that. I get where they're coming from necessarily. But I would only be okay with them saying that if it wasn't for the fact that I was only doing it during downtime, while my machine was running. And this is what makes me mad about it, is that he literally just wants us to stand there and stare at our machine and be bored. All I'm trying to do is just keep the productivity going. Yeah, it's not productivity towards my machine, but what do you want me to do? I mean, I can't make the machine go any faster than it already is. So he has caught me twice now doing homework during downtime, and he essentially said if he catches me a third time, that he, myself, and our HR manager are gonna sit down and have a talk about it. So maybe what he doesn't know is that the HR manager actually likes me. Or at least as far as I can tell, she likes me. Not like romantically or anything, but I mean, just like she's, her and I are on friendly terms. It's not like we're butting heads like I am with my supervisor. So what I'm going to do is that the next time I see her, I'm just going to have a talk with her by myself. And I'm essentially going to just sit down and I suppose like confess my sins or whatever. And essentially tell her that I'm not going to stop, because especially after this last weekend, receiving that certificate was a big boost to my motivation. I have something physically tangible to present to people to say, this is where my hard work is taking me, because before all I had was just grades on a report card, which, I mean, that's not to say that those aren't important as well, but the certificate from an honor society is a pretty big deal. And from what I understand, having that honor society on your resume, along with things like, graduating with honors and so forth, that's going to be a big thing. It's going to be a big deal when it comes to other companies looking to hire me, as I look forward to my future. As far as, what career that may be, I haven't really decided yet. Obviously, teaching is going to be somewhere in that, is going to factor into that somehow. But that's still a wait and see. But either way, what I'm getting at is the fact that, I'm starting to see results from my hard work, and I am not going to let some guy who's my supervisor that just wants to beat his chest and pull this alpha male garbage, try to exert his dominance by, just essentially saying that he's not okay with it. So I simply just have to do what he says. And, it's going to take them having to give me a really good reason not to do it. Because they can't say it takes away from my production, because it doesn't. I'm doing it while the machine is running. So, production is still happening. It's not like I'm doing this when I should be running my machine instead, because machine's already running. Doesn't it sound redundant already? Just hearing me talk about it. It's just stupid. It's ridiculous and dumb, and I'm not going to stop. Hopefully this won't come back to bite me in the ass, but they literally will have to fire me, if they want me to stop, because that's one of two things that'll happen in order for me to stop doing it. I will either not work there anymore, only because they fire me. I'm not going to quit. The place is decent enough, aside from this nonsense with the homework, the place is decent enough for me to be okay sticking around there. But they'll have to fire me. They'll have to can me, and they'll have to come up with a decent reason as well. As far as what are they going to cite? They're going to say, oh, you've been doing homework while the machine was running, so that's unacceptable. We're going to fire you. The only thing they could probably maybe try and get away with is saying that I'm being insubordinate, which, wouldn't be the first time that a supervisor has called me that. One supervisor loved to throw that word around, but that was years before I started, doing the school thing or whatever. But either way, I'm not going to quit, because school is way more important to me. I'd rather be unemployed looking for another job than work for a company that's not going to support my academic endeavors. That's just the way it's going to be. And I feel that if the day ever came that I would be accepting of that, will be the day that things are going to start going poorly for me as far as school is concerned. But I'm just not going to allow that to happen. They will literally have to, they'll have to fire me. That's just the way it is. That's the way it's going to be. So that's pretty much it. I guess I will definitely keep you posted on how the whole work situation goes, because I plan to address that sometime this week, and hopefully have things resolved positively. Fingers crossed for that. But I don't know. Maybe I'll be coming back in a week or two saying yeah, I got fired from the job or whatever. I don't know. But my motivation and my resolve are pretty much stronger than ever. Don't get me wrong. I am exhausted. I am wiped out, with all the stuff going on, keeping my grades up, and now doing the honors credit stuff, and then social life in between all that. It's been exhausting, this semester. But I just have to keep telling myself it's only a few more weeks to go, and then I'll be done. At least with this semester, and then I get to start another one the same week. Yay. But, I'm still going strong. I wanted to, I just been thinking the last couple of weeks, like, man, I haven't done a show. I have a lot that I wanted to kind of bring my audience up to speed with. And I know that I'm gaining at least, one or two more members of the audience. So that's anytime I ever hear about that, it's always extra motivation to make sure to keep putting episodes out. So anyway, I think that's pretty much going to do it. I mean, I'm looking at the clock. I only went about an hour. I thought it was going to go a little bit longer, but like I said, things have been busy, but it just hasn't been a lot of different things that's been keeping me busy. So the holidays are coming up, so that at the very least means I'll have a little bit more break time to focus on stuff. I'm thinking I might do like a fun episode around Thanksgiving. It totally depends on how the holiday itself goes. Like, I don't know if it's going to be like last year where I kind of spent it by myself, or if I'm going to be spending it with with other people. That's still kind of up in the air, but either way, just keep an eye out on the social medias, and I'll be sure to let you know as far as we go. But that's going to do it for this episode of The Road to Japan. Make sure to check out theroadtojapan.com for this episode and many others. I did fix the feed. I noticed that iTunes was only allowing something like 12 episodes or whatever to be available. So I modified the feed so that all the episodes would be available. So if you are listening to this and this is your first episode, all the episodes should be available on iTunes or whatever podcatching device you use. And you can find links for all those subscription options at, as I said, theroadtojapan.com. Just look to the right side of pretty much any page on there, and you'll find that. Also on the right side, just underneath the subscription links, you will find all the videos that I have done. Some of which are episodes, just like the one you are hearing. Unfortunately, not this one, because like I said, I decided not to bother with the camera for this episode, just so I could focus on mainly just getting an episode out quickly, because I still got a lot of work to do. But there's also the social medias, which also have links on that same right hand sidebar. You can follow at The Road to Japan on Twitter, or you can look up on Facebook. Just look up The Road to Japan. And follow the show from there. You will find updates here and there. If you want to have a look at what my Fancy Pants certificate looks like from Phi Theta Kappa, you can see it there. But that's pretty much it. I will definitely, hopefully, be back in a few weeks. With probably one final update as we approach the home stretch of the semester. But if you don't hear from me by then you can probably look forward to hearing the wrap-up episode when I do the report card for session 3. But for now, this has been session 3, episode 3, I think, of The Road to Japan. My name is Nico, and I will catch you guys next time. Minasan, ganbatte.